All right. Hey guys, how are you? This is Sara.
Hi.
I wonder if either of us are going to get a word in edgewise. We're both talkers, opinionated, strong personalities. Sara is from Whose Land's Digital Media. I'm going to hit record on this here in a second, and then I'm going to reveal the man behind the curtain and who this lady is and how much she's helped me in the last almost 2 years. I guess it's been close to a year and a half, right?
Yeah.
Since we've been working together?
Yep.
So, all right. We are welcoming Sara Leisinger, and I'm saying it right.
Yes.
Sara Leisinger.
Yeah.
She owns Whose Land's Digital Media with your husband, right?
I do. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. You have, so you own a business with your husband. That sounds terrible. My husband and I are both entrepreneurs, but we get to go to separate corners of the world.
Yes.
And his parents owned a business together for 35 years. And kudos to you all doing that. I don't know how, like, you're managing momming. You are a brand new mom.
Yes.
To a brand new baby, but you're not a brand new mom.
Oh, well.
Tell us about your kids.
My oldest Grant is 5, and he'll be 6 soon.
Okay, the cutest thing though about Grant that you have to know about this woman is she calls her husband's name is Grant. Is he a junior?
No junior.
No,
I just have this thing about calling no junior.
But she calls them G1 and G2.
I do.
And it is incredibly cute. Okay, so
I thought it was convenient.
and I love it when it's just a cute way to do it, and I think he's just kind of a little copy and paste of his dad anyway.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny. And then they get into arguments about who is G1 and who is G2. So the first time
Little
G2,
Grant hasn't learned.
No, it's just very funny because G1 is clearly the one in charge. So he'll, like, when he was like 3, he looked at his dad one day out of the blue and goes, "I'm G1." And Grant got so mad. It was so funny. Anyway.
So you've got Grant, and then tell us about the little ones.
So August is a toddler. He'll be 2 this month, which is crazy for me to think about. And
wait, how old is Grant?
G2?
Yeah.
I was like,
G2.
Which one?
Yeah. I don't care how old your husband is.
Okay. He's going to be 6.
Okay.
And
so
then
6, 2, and then you were like, I'm having so much fun with this parenting thing. Let's just do 2 in a row.
Yeah, my bonus baby just came out of nowhere. Well, I mean, obviously there are things that happen. Someone came. But
Oh my God.
Demon, if this is being monetized.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. And you're not wrong.
No.
So here we are. But he's brand new. He's fresh.
Yes, he's a month old, and he is the sweetest, and he likes to chew on my nose.
And he's Elliot.
Yes, he's Elliot.
I love that. She did the coolest thing. Well, I don't know if it's the coolest thing. Probably definitely not planned. But while she was pregnant with Elliot, you had a different name picked out for him.
I did.
And you had announced this name, and then you were like, and we're changing our mind.
Oh my gosh, I totally did this last time too.
You did?
It wasn't all over social media because I wasn't in that place in life yet. But so August, before he was August, he was Royce.
Interesting.
Yes.
So you've done that. You have a history of. So you'll have a fun story to tell your kids when they get older.
Yes.
Because everybody asks, like, well, if I were a girl, what would I be named or whatever? Like, did you have other names picked out for me? What would I be? And you'll be like, actually, you had several names.
Yes.
That were official.
Yeah. I mean, and Elliot, especially Elliot, because
I love that name, Elliot.
I think there were so many people just contributing and wanting to say this should be the name and this should be the name, and any mom knows, anybody that's ever had to name a kid knows that happens. And then there's other people who are like, well, I had picked out that baby name for my son who I'm not thinking about and have not had and probably won't have for the next 4 years.
So here you go.
And it's like, get over yourself. You're fine.
There can be 2.
Yeah.
It's not a problem. How many Saras are there in the world?
80, half the population of women are named Sara. Yeah.
Sarah, Jessica.
Yeah, you've got a pretty good shot if you go into a room full of women and just holler out Sara.
Oh God, that's so funny.
Yeah.
So you own Whose Land's Digital Media. You do, well, tell them what you do because I love the way you describe what you do.
Oh gosh, okay.
Your pitch, your little elevator pitch. Yeah, I love it, but it's really good.
Yeah, okay, well, thank you. I just tell people that it's my job to make them feel 10 foot tall and bulletproof in their social media. And my other one, I guess, is to create a vortex around their brand by creating awareness, building trust, and facilitating ease of action with their their ideal
with her.
client.
So she works with, and the thing I want to tell you about her, and the thing, like, a lot of people have noticed my social media has changed in the last couple of years. I was doing a great job before, but I always say, to be successful in business, you have to have two things. You have to have consistency, and you have to have belief. And when it comes to social media, and it's not just belief in yourself, but other people have to believe. Like, that belief factor, that trust factor has to be really strong.
Mm-hmm.
And so social media is a great free way to do that.
Come on.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
But the consistency piece can be really tough for a solopreneur. And it was getting overwhelmed. So I always talk about how I met people, and I very distinctly remember meeting you. I've met lots of social media people in the past that do social media management strategy, whatever you call it.
Mm-hmm.
And but I met you at a CenterSphere meeting, and
Yes.
I think, was it the first meeting we had both gone to?
Yeah, so we met through Erica at CenterSphere, Erica Olaf. So shout out to Erica if she's watching. And she had told me about you.
Oh,
the meeting before that, and she's like, I have someone I want you to meet. Her name is Kendra Ayers. I think you guys would click. And I'm like, okay. Like, yeah. I'm very up for meeting people. Yeah,
so we met at CenterSphere, and then we got together for coffee later, but I could not wait to meet her, and I had already decided I was having her manage my social media. I don't, to be all honest with you, I don't really know why. I was like, nope, she knows what she's talking about. I can figure that, like, I feel like I could hand my brand off to you, which is kind of crazy because you must somehow do that naturally, at least for
I
me.
had little to no social media experience at that point. Like,
well, one thing you said in our meeting was, you're like, let me just be clear with you, your social media presence is better than mine, it's bigger than mine, if that makes you feel any kind of way. And I'm like, nope, I expect you to be good at your craft, and most cobblers' kids have no shoes, so.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I just didn't, you gave me my shot is how I view that. Mm-hmm. Like, just with taking on a brand and kind of refining what I was in my craft too.
How did you even get, like, you didn't go to school for social media management. How did you?
Yeah.
I mean, I know a little bit about your background. You worked in direct sales. You've got a lot of sales experience, and all of that is what it is. But at one point, you decided, you lived up in the Waterloo area. You decided you're going to do social media management. Moved down here. I mean, I know it probably happened in all kinds of different ways. We don't need to go into all the details.
Sure.
But what made you decide, I really want to give social media a shot?
I fell into it.
Through a different job?
It was not even through a different job. So, like, long story short, my oldest had some health problems when he was little, and it was very hard to find a childcare provider because he had seizures.
Oh, God.
And so
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And so he needed to, I essentially bribed a childcare provider with a website so that I could go.
How'd you learn how to build websites?
I worked at a tech company, and they made them wrong. So I'm going to leave the name of the tech company out. But they named them wrong, and I had enough people complaining about the way the websites were made that I would just remake them.
So you are a naturally curious person.
Yes.
And you enjoy, like, education from, like, so you've kind of, what I see is you just really, like, you'll tell me, I'm taking, like, a web course on, God only knows what it even means. Sometimes the words you use I don't understand. But, like, on different, like, technical things, social media things, website development. So you've just kind of fallen into, like, somehow have this natural gift.
I think the curiosity is natural, but I don't think anybody, you don't just...
I think you're naturally curious, and you're a naturally good communicator. Maybe those two things coming together brought it. Because you don't have, like, formal education in what you do at all.
No, because you have to learn as you go. The stuff in this changes so fast that trying to get a formal education in it is almost a waste of money. By the time you would get out of college, everything would be out of date. By the time you get out of the quarter, everything would be out of date.
You've really got to love social media in order.
You really have to love people.
That's hard sometimes, right?
Yeah, it's a love-hate relationship. I think in social, you both on the influencer side and also on the people on the other side of the screen. You see the best and the worst in people because it's a social atmosphere. So I tell people it's not about the algorithm. It's not about, hey, this is social media. This is a means of communication. This is just the way we're doing it right now.
Right. Exactly.
So it always goes back to people.
And maybe that's part of why I really liked you, because from the very beginning you were like, we're not going to play the algorithm. And I hate when people say play the algorithm. I really believe it all lies in those terms and conditions when you check that little box. Like, the algorithm is just the AI, the artificial intelligence that's calling you out on you using the platform like a jerk.
Yeah.
Like,
it's
that's
true.
all
Well,
it is.
and the thing is, if you're trying to keep up with the algorithm, you will always be behind.
Right, because you're chasing
Yes.
a problem, not chasing a solution.
But if you're getting to know the people, your audience, genuinely, so building genuine audiences and getting to know the people on the other side of the screen, you will never have to chase the algorithm, because you are then, your goal should always be to communicate and to deliver value to the person on the other side of the screen, which is what I really liked about, and I still like about working with you, and why I was like, I think I really want to work with this woman. Like, I think I'm going to learn a lot, and I've learned a ton. But just like,
but you're not necessarily learning from me. You're learning with me. Like,
yeah.
you like go out and figure, when things aren't working, you figure it out, or you have like, I mean, since we've already screwed up all of our monetizing, we might as well just say you got the balls to come by and say, Kendra, like, your face needs to be on social media more.
Yeah.
Because I go through ebbs and flows where I, my face is all over. I'm doing live videos. I'm doing lots of selfies and pictures. And then I go through times where I don't really feel like being present, or I'm not present in that time. And you definitely see the numbers dip. So coming up with creative ways to keep that going. And for me, it's remembering. So people always say, oh, I definitely need to hire a social media strategist. That would take so much off my plate. And
Nope.
I always laugh, and I'm like, if that's what you're doing, then that's just, if you want things taken off your plate, then you're not actively gaining trust with your audience. And it's just a relationship that you're building constantly. And so my brand hasn't really changed, just communicating it more effectively, and you help me be very consistent. I'm not a good planner. So you send me content calendars, and I mean, you follow them. I don't always.
Just fine.
Yeah. So, yeah, she has helped me hone in my own strategy, but it's not less work at all. In fact, but it's more focused work is what I would call it. I have more focus.
Well, and I try to create strategy for each client, including yourself, so that it moves toward an end. You pioneer quite a bit, so you'll understand, like, you're pioneering a ton with the U conferences, and it's honestly a blast working on that brand also. But it's just, when you pioneer, you get windburn, and so you understand what I mean when, like, hey, when you're out in front, you get hit in the face. And so some of this is stuff that's very new to this area, because a lot of what I was doing before, or not what I was doing before, but what I saw before and what I just it didn't ring true to me, was gaming the algorithm. Or buying likes campaigns, or just stuff that I'm just like, this is not authentic, this is not real.
And you can do sponsored posts and sponsoring, and spend a lot of money on your social media, which is something that I know a lot of your clients do, a lot of people do. But we kind of decided at the beginning, like, organic was like, I'm pretty well. I have an example to lead with what I do for direct sales, and also what I do for small business. I want people to know you can create a brand for yourself organically without paying for reach. So you've been tremendously on my side with that.
Yeah. And honestly, I with people who, like, pay for their reach and things like that, again, the conversion doesn't ring true. And so, like, they'll pay to be in front of people. People may or may not follow, but that doesn't gain the algorithm. That doesn't do anything for them. It just, gosh, this is going to be a really crude phrase. It finds the line and dry humps it.
This is where we're at. Yeah. So that's not, and not everybody's going to agree with that logic and that way of thought. There's probably a lot faster ways to the top, but I'm glad that you've stood next to me and said, yeah, I'll go ahead and do this that way. And I would say the number one thing that I've had to do working with a social media strategist is give up a lot of trust. Not give it up, but put a lot of trust in you. Like, I have to trust wholeheartedly that you can take my brand and my voice and you speak for me in a way that I would speak to my audience. And sometimes you do it better than I would do it, but it never feels like I'm not behind that message. That's a damn gift, I think.
Thank you. So it took me a little bit, honestly. Like I had been in some direct sales before, and so some of it I had go-to content for that. But some of it was just like finding your voice and how I can reflect that to the world, and that takes time. It takes more than a week or a month, or
and we don't. You don't always hit it out of the park. I mean, there's times I'm like, oh, get rid of that post. I don't like it. But I do have to remind myself and Sarah, like, but the 100 posts that came before that were great. Mm-hmm. Just that one I didn't love. Yeah. So and it's definitely a team effort. I mean, I have to play a big role, so you have content to share and to piece up and to make it something that people want to learn about. And it's been awesome. When you work with people, I think, do you feel like you have like that get to, you told me we'll need 6 months to get to know each other. Yeah. Truly. And do you feel
I always
like
ask, so.
Yeah, like we're dating now.
Yeah. You're forming a relationship to me, and probably third to your spouse. I am the most important person in your world.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah, it's
intense
crazy.
though. It's because you really do form relationships with people, and like, sorry, you were about to ask a question.
No, you're right on track here.
Okay.
No, that's got to be hit and miss. You've got to have some people that you vibe really well with, it works, and then other people. So does that relationship, when somebody decides to hire a social media strategist, like, I mean, I'm sure it's fair to work with somebody for like 4 to 6 months before you decide, but do you have to fire clients? Do clients have to fire you? How does that work out? How do you have those conversations?
I have fired clients, yes, but not in a way that was rude or mean. It was more like when we get together in the first place, it really is talking to them about a partnership and a collaborative effort. I've learned
You're not really interested in being like somebody's assistant.
No. Right. Or their replacement for doing their social media. If they say the phrase, "You're going to take this off my plate for me," I say, "Nope. Mm-hmm. That's not what we do here. Mm-hmm. I am not a social media manager. I am a strategist." Mm-hmm. Which when I explain that to you, you're like, yes, gung-ho, let's work together. I've had clients in the past that we didn't vibe well professionally, but like on a friendship level, we're great.
Everything's good.
Yeah. So
yeah. That's got to be hard though, to look at somebody or somebody's, strategizing that brand and differentiating. And there's times when you need a manager and there's times when you need a strategist. And for me to decide to put money into social media strategy was a huge decision as a business owner. It's a big chunk of my budget. I spend more money on that, that marketing piece than a lot of my peers do. But at the end of the day, I think the other side of it is really powerful. So where's Who's Lance? I mean, it's so funny. I'm going to ask you this, and then you're going to be like, oh, fuck. I don't know if I should have said that, but...
Demon.
Where does Who's Lance go? Where does Who's Lance go from here? Are you continuously working with small solopreneurs like me, or do you have other visions, or are you open?
So right now, I mean, my husband handles a lot of the... service and product-based businesses. So basically, if you have a brick and mortar, my husband is the person handling that.
And to be fair, you both have great product sales experience. Like, you're very knowledgeable.
He's taught me everything I know. So
really?
So frankly, when people want to interview me, I'm like, you could probably interview him and get better information. And he's nicer to listen to because he's got like that radio voice, right?
Yeah.
But like from here, in predicting the direction of the company, yes, we're still taking on clients. We're in a time of expansion, essentially, because projects keep happening. Praise God.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, what I really am doing here is I'm very heavily involved in the freelancer community in Cedar Rapids, and so I'm really looking forward to just spreading the love to my fellow freelancers, people who are very, very talented. They're experts in what they do, and I can't be an expert in what they do.
Right.
And so being able to benefit our clients and the people that are willing to hop aboard with us.
Doing collaborations and using your brand. Your brand is, I think your brand is super fun looking and from the outside. You have an interesting story about coming up with the, so Who's Lance? Lance is a shortened version of freelance.
Yeah. Which
I thought was interesting, but share a little bit about how you came up with that name. I think it's both brilliant and like you wanted to keep that kind of man behind the curtain feeling. Like who is that behind the curtain? And it doesn't look like a man or a woman. Am I on the right track? Is that?
Yeah, it's so like being a woman in the tech industry, we're rare. We're very rare in the tech industry. Being a woman of color in the tech industry is, again, something that is extremely rare. Like something that they push for in programs in the government. They're like, here, take some of our cheese. And I'm like, okay. So
good cheese.
I talked to you about the palmetto bugs, you know, when I was younger, growing up in Florida. How they just, you try to step on them and they kick back. Yeah, they walk to your refrigerator in the middle of the night and open it. That your cheese? Yeah. No, it was bad. So
God, that's so funny.
Anyway, so I did want to kind of have a man behind the curtain feel because as I was growing this, and I'm always developing the brand, but there were just so many good, knowledgeable, expert level people in our community that nobody was really taking advantage of their services. And I'm like, I want to get this out there. Like, we have fantastic people who develop websites, who develop apps, who do graphic design, who teach, who speak, who coach. Like, these people who
I still see you having an agency of all of that under this roof. Like,
and as long as I don't have to manage the people and I can sit in a corner and read a book every once in a while. That's not how it goes. So I got to learn how to people better.
So speaking of learning, what are some of the most influential things that you've learned? So since you didn't go to school for social media or marketing management,
nothing,
PR,
any of that. For biotechnology.
Welp. Since you didn't, what are some resources that you've learned from that if people watching or listening are wanting to get their social media or just kind of learn about some of the places that you've got it from, where would you recommend people get books, podcasts, people? What do you...
For sure. So I take a little bit of something from everybody. So marketing wise, I've learned a ton from Seth Godin. He's a blogger and also an author and a speaker, and kind of
a lot of info from him.
Yeah, kind of a funny looking guy, but like he's cool to learn from. He reminds me of a turtle. Like, his looks remind me of a turtle. Anyway, sorry.
Okay.
So I've learned a lot from him. And then I've learned a lot from Gary Vaynerchuk.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff I agree with there. There's a lot of stuff that I'm grain of salt, you know, because he lives in a huge metro with New York, and he, you know, his bottom level client has to promise to spend $1 million with him every month. So, you know, so I'm not quite at that level.
Not yet. So keep your sights high.
Yeah, aim higher.
We'll grow together, Sarah.
Yes. And then those are probably the big ones that I start off with. And then business-wise, so the biggest problem that I see with people transitioning from, if we're talking freelancerville, from being an employed person to being a business owner is mindset. And so working a lot.
Nobody wants to admit that.
No, but 98% of what I do is mindset. Like 2% of it, and I do a lot of work. You know, you're like, hey.
Well, watching you and your husband balance everything, and I know that's got to be a lot of mindset. You talk about how you guys do a regular Facebook Live together, and you talk about that balance between like your personalities, and how you keep that going. And so you're raising 3 little kids. I mean, little ones. That are all hilarious, but well, at least the older 2, they can talk. But not the little one yet. I'm sure he's great.
He makes noise.
Yeah, but like managing, like you're the face of the company and the driver of the company, and he's super dad right now, and I'm sure those roles will switch and change and go different ways. But I love how you guys keep a real open mind to that. That's really brave, frankly. It shouldn't be, but it is.
Well, I mean, for our strengths and everything, and his desire. I mean, like, my desire is to run the company and to predict the direction of the company. And so I would say 80-20. And it's not that, you know, I refuse to accept mom shaming. A lot of people will do that.
Absolutely.
you know, they're like, oh, well, you're a working mom, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, why can't I just be someone who works?
Yeah, mom.
Like
you guys...
mom is one of the hats that I wear, and honestly, it's a predominant hat that I wear. And if you're a mother, you understand that. You think about your kids quite a bit.
You can work 80 hours a week.
I can be in their face and have them be broke when they're older, or I can build them an empire that they can launch from. And you know what? Their wives will probably be happy with that.
Yeah, yeah, that's amazing. It's cool to watch you guys figure it out. And I mean, you guys, like, I've watched you kind of start this business with these 2 little babies and moving along, and your things are starting to fall into place, and you've worked really, really hard, and you've put your head down, and it's been
humbling. It's humbling to be in business for yourself.
Yeah,
and knocked in the teeth quite a bit.
And I like how you you talk about the struggle, you talk about the humbleness, you celebrate your wins. Like, you could literally be pretending that things are there's just no smoke and mirrors with you, which is great. And I think that's why,
because I wear my emotions like right here, and so there's no way for me to have smoke and mirrors. Like, if I'm having a bad day, you'll know.
Right.
And you frequently do. You're like, I'm gonna leave you alone today, and I'm like, yeah, I'll let you know if I need somebody to talk to.
Well, and I think that's part of what helps us work really well together. You're super forgiving when I'm having a bad day. Like, I'll tell you, take your time, take some, this is not urgent. Like, we've just learned how to work together. And because, like, we're working on my brand, and you have to be me a lot of times, like, that it just takes so much trust. So I sincerely appreciate that from you and how you work. And
I appreciate the shot. Honestly, I just appreciate the opportunity to grow, because it's rare. It's even rare to find in a client to somebody that will just let you grow with the brand, and the fact that you trust me so much, like, because I'm behind you 100% in the direction that you want to go.
Mm-hmm.
However, if it's you've said something sometimes that is like, I'm like, that's not on your brand though. Is that the direction that you want to take your brand? And you're like, maybe not there.
So let's talk about where people can find you before I forget and our time runs out.
Sure.
So you are at Who's Lance Digital Media on Facebook and on Instagram, and your website what's the exact website?
It's WLDigitalMedia.com. It's going through a makeover right now, but if you want to schedule some time with me, that is how you do it. WLDigitalMedia.com.
And you can message her. She will be speaking at Abundantly You, and one of the things that she's going to talk about, which I think is so good and you're so brilliant at, is you're talking about the abundance of content. So, like, how to split up large pieces of content into small, how to, like, have enough content for the month, how to plan things out, how to not be, like, so tied to your social media, so you can have an abundance of time. And this is stuff that you could do. You may not be ready to hire a social media strategist. A lot of my audience isn't,
and that's okay.
And but we can learn from you.
Yeah.
And then when you're ready, you already have things like figured out, or you can figure it out for yourself for long enough. So it's awesome, and I appreciate you doing that. That takes some abundance and mindset to do all that.
Yeah,
Yeah, it does. It's a lot of what you do takes a lot of abundance and sharing a little bit about the man behind the curtain. That's hard, because you want to hold your cards tight to your chest a lot of times, and you're awesome at not doing that.
Yeah, I'm good with sharing. I grew up I'm the third of 11 kids, so sharing was mandatory.
Holy crap, we should have started with that. Being third of 11 siblings.
Holidays were always fun. They still are. We have great conversations.
All right, well, thank you for being on. I know you've got another thing to do, so we'll stop this recording. And thanks for everything you do for me personally and for our community, for the U Conferences community. I mean, she's doing the website for U Conferences. She does all the social media strategy for that, and then she does a lot with me too. So, well, probably more for me, but we would not have grown to where we have at U Conferences without your guidance and your leadership. So
thank you.
It's
my pleasure.
Like 100%, you deserve a trophy or something. I don't have any trophy.
I love trophies.
Money in my budget, so I'll draw you a trophy.
Draw me a trophy on Canva. You're an expert now.
Yeah. She taught me Canva. She had me do that, and
she's now a graphic designer.
That's what I told her. I said I have like hours of experience, and now I do graphic design. So yeah, see what you can learn from your social media people. It's
Rock
true.
on.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being on, and we will just watch what she has going on. Stop this recording here. You guys can check out this episode probably have it uploaded later today so I don't accidentally delete it like I did yesterday's episode, which don't worry, I figured out a way to half-ass recover it. Nothing's perfect.
You're doing great.
Thanks.
You're doing great. You're busting ass, man.
Trying.
Like, this is a lot.
You know, she's so funny. She said, when I said, hey, I'm going to start a podcast, and she's like, okay, I have all these ideas, and we'll get this equipment and that equipment and light it like this. And I'm like, I'm pretty much starting tomorrow. So this is what this woman has to do. She gives me all this advice, all this great advice on how to actually do things professionally and make it good. And I'm like, so I'm just going to go ahead and like jump into the deep end right now, and then you can chase it. And she's like,
I usually come along with a few lifesaver type things. No, she's got it. You're doing great. I love listening to the podcast. Great. Yeah, you guys should go to her platform. I'm gonna, do the thing that I do after this and drop links everywhere.
Right. Drop them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll get this put up later today. I usually will post about it tomorrow again so people remember, while you're on your treadmill in the morning to listen to this.
I feel like the podcast episode just now, though, was fairly calm, though, because usually our conversations are a bit more lively. Yeah.
It's okay.
They're fun.
We had a lot of coffee. I'm a little sweaty. All right, guys. I'll see you later.
Bye.